Minnesota Twins, they bounce back. They win game 2 versus the Diamondbacks 8-3. We're breaking it all down. It's coming up next on the Locked On Twins POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Twins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up? What's up? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins POSTCAST episode right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. You got myself, Luke Inman, at Luke_Spinman. That's the man. He's back again. C.J. Baumgartner, Twins expert over at Zone Coverage MN. He's on X at BaumCJ30. And CJ, before we jump into all the action, quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay, man. Twins looking to bounce back after last night's one-run loss to Arizona in Game 1. Game 2 tonight. Woods-Richardson making his 12th start of the year already. Crazy how time's flying for him. Twins offense gives him some support early, so made life easy on him tonight, which was nice to see. Top 2, Miranda, bases juice, sends a double to left field. That clears the bases. Buxton, Correa, Santana, they all score to make it 3-0. Next inning, Buxton adds a sac fly. Correa scores again, 4-0 now. Fourth inning, Larnach and Correa, both with a couple RBI doubles. All of a sudden, you look up at the scoreboard, it's 6-0 already in the fourth inning. Castro gets in on the fun, 2-run bomb, his 7th home run of the year. Diamondbacks score a couple late, but kind of too little, too late. Twins win game 2, 8-3. They jump up to 44-36 on the year. Let's talk Woods-Richardson here in a sec, but first, as always, just your biggest takeaways, kind of your A topics from game 2 versus the Diamondbacks. What do you got tonight?
Well, yesterday we talked about how the Twins hit the ball really hard and had nothing to show for it. Today, the Twins hit the ball really hard and had a lot to show for it. They were able to hit balls into gaps. They were able to get guys on base and then drive home runs. Really everything that they put themselves in position to do yesterday, but just couldn't materialize, they were able to materialize today. They were swinging again a really, really hot bat. And like you talked about, it gives Simeon Woods-Richardson that run support early where he's able to just kind of go on cruise and get through a nice little ball game. He can pitch confidently, and he did a really nice job keeping the ball in the yard outside of one pitch. And just another good start for Simeon Woods-Richardson. The offense gave him a lot of run support to where basically he's kind of an afterthought in this game, but a really nice outing for him as well. They hit the ball hard and good things happen.
Yeah, again, 5 1/3, 4 hits, 3 earned, 2 walks, 4 Ks, 90 pitches. Again, 12th start of the year already. He's been arguably, we've talked about this a lot, but arguably the biggest and the best surprise of this entire organization this year, has he not? Like another rock solid outing tonight, but we've just kind of grown accustomed to these at this point, have we not?
Yeah, there was a stat, I believe, on the Bally broadcast before the game that like Simeon Woods-Richardson is in like the top 10 of like strikeout per 9 innings since becoming a full-time member of the Twins rotation. Now, obviously, can be a little skewed. He's not an innings eater per se, but also he's been a guy that's been effective. Or maybe it's a strikeout to walk rate. It doesn't matter. It's an important stat for a pitcher, and for him to just be able to do that has been huge. We talked about it before. The Twins weren't in a great spot when they had to send Louis Varland down because they did not. I mean, Simeon Woods-Richardson got the call, but it was kind of by default. David Festa wasn't ready, and they didn't really have anybody else down there in AAA. And if he struggled, they were in a real pickle, and he bailed them out of the fact that, has been talked about a lot over the winter. The Twins did not really address starting pitching depth outside of Anthony DeSclafani, and he never is going to play an inning in a Twins uniform. So for him to come in and just be stable, he's not going to ever, put the team on his back, but what he's going to do is he's going to give you a chance to win every single time. And for a guy that's at the bottom end of your starting rotation, you don't need him to have a Pablo-esque, ace type outing, a Joe Ryan type ace outing. You just need him to come in and keep your team in the ball game, avoid having to burn up your bullpen. And if your team can drop him 4, 6, 8 runs in a game, then you're more likely than not to win.
ESPN just came out with a midseason award article. They ranked the top 10 rookies from the AL, from the NL. Take a guess where you think he ranked in the AL top 10 list for rookies.
I'm going to say probably not number 1, but I'm going to say like a respectable number 4.
Number 2.
Really?
Two.
Okay.
Who's you probably already know it. Who's the one guy higher than him at number 1? Who is it?
Oh geez, now you're putting me on the spot.
Louis Hill, Yankees, former Twin, but who's coming?
Yeah. Yeah. Is that?
But how about that 1 and 2 right there? Louis Hill, Yankees. Again, these are top 10 rookies in the AL, according to a recent article, midseason article by ESPN. But Simeon Woods-Richardson, number 2, man. That again, just a testament, just kind of echoing you, a testament though to how great he's been, and really he's kind of come in and saved the day by some accounts, helping shoulder some of the load. No, not all the load, but some of the load this year, while Pablo and company have kind of struggled with just some inconsistencies, as we know this year. By the way, this top 10 rookie list I'm looking at, 3 Cleveland Guardians on here, man. 3 on the top 10 list. Cade Smith, Hunter Gaddis, Daniel Schneemann. Unreal. And they got the number 1 pick in the draft this year as well coming up, which I'm sure we'll talk to. We'll talk about some MLB mock drafts in what is that? Is that coming up here soon?
It's like early July. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Maybe a week or two. NBA draft tonight, by the way. T-Wolves fans pumped up for that. All right. Huge news today. You hinted at it last night. Chris Paddock out again. He's on the 15-day IL. So here he comes. Twins top pitching prospect David Festa finally gets the green light. He's going to be up in the bigs with the start tomorrow versus Arizona in Game 3. Just tell us everything we need to know. Give us the kind of just broad, general, overall scouting report. What makes him so special? What makes him so intriguing? What's kind of his, background, so to speak? Biggest strengths, biggest weaknesses as of now? What's the scouting report, if you will?
Well, the things that opened the door for David Festa to get his call up, we talked about, like you said on the show yesterday, just that Paddock got hurt and, maybe they could call up Varland again, maybe not, but Festa has been getting better and better as the season's gone on, and he's just earned that opportunity. I mean, he's a top 5 prospect. He's number 99 overall in Baseball America's prospect list. So he's a top 100 global prospect. He's the number 5 prospect in the Twin system, according to MLB.com. I mean, it's just ready for him. Like at a certain point, he just needs to come up, and this is a good opportunity for Festa in just kind of a controlled setting of a couple starts, and then hopefully Paddock's ready to go. And, best case scenario, he pitches the lights out, Paddock comes back, and then you send him down, and kind of like they do with Ed Julian last year, a couple other of those young hitters, you send them right back down with a bunch of confidence, and you kind of give them that little taste before they come up. But the thing with Festa, he was a 13th round draft pick a couple of years ago out of Seton Hall, and really was kind of a nobody pitcher. And he's really worked and developed his game. He took a fastball that was at about 92, 93 in college, consistently throws at 95. He's got a curveball. He's got a changeup. He's got a slider. His slider's been pretty effective as well. Really, it's just since he's joined the Twins organization, think Bailey Ober, who is another late round college pitcher who has a big frame and wingspan, and the Twins are able to use those long arms with the extension and with the release points to kind of mess with hitters. So while he may not have the most electric stuff all the time, if you can just mess with the hitter's timing, with their vision, you can do all that stuff. It does make up for a lot of ground. What Festa does really well, and it's a little bit different from Ober, especially in AAA the last couple of years, he's been more of a ground ball pitcher than a fly ball pitcher, whereas Bailey Ober is a fly ball pitcher. But also with Festa, he can strike guys out. I believe a 35% strikeout rate in AAA this season, 3.77 ERA in a very offensive dominated league in the independent league for AAA for the St. Paul Saints. So overall, he has earned an opportunity to start. He can get some swings and misses. He can pump that fastball up a little bit. And, if not, hopefully he's getting things on the ground. For his first big league start, it'll be really fascinating just to see kind of what he can do, because the one drawback is he's gotten better at it since he's been a pro, but he does kind of have a little bit of command issues. So the one thing that could lead him into trouble, maybe a little too amped up, overthrowing, doing all that stuff. But other than that, it's really exciting to get to watch a top 5 prospect get to make his MLB debut.
Yeah, again, top 5 prospect, as you said. Looking at it right now, 6'6". Talk about that Bailey Ober frame, man. 6'6", $185, and what,
They call
24
him the
years old.
Slim Reaper, apparently.
The Slim already got the cool nickname, man. The Slim Reaper. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to see him tomorrow. And we're going to preview Game 3 tomorrow here in a few minutes as well. Rocco report time. Favorite, least favorite move or decision from today's game. So Game 2 versus the Diamondbacks. The Rocco report. It says what?
Well, I was interested to see when they were going to put in Ronnie Henriquez, because we all know that he's going to be sent down to make room for David Festa on the 26-man roster, because Henriquez was called up in place of Paddock. So he was going to get used. He didn't get in the game yesterday, so he's going to have to make an appearance at some point today. Ideally, the Twins had a big lead. I was kind of waiting for it. They let him shut the door in the 9th. The thing I really like out of this game is Rocco letting Duran come in the 8th inning with 1 out on the board to come in and just kind of clean things up. He's not been awful, but just been shaky. And with a guy that you want to put in a lot of high leverage positions, a 50-50 proposition of like, is this going to be a bad outing, or just, a more probable than not things could go wrong? That's out of a low leverage reliever, a middle reliever, not out of your high leverage guys once you want late in the game. And you just give him an opportunity to kind of get right, get a good outing on the board. And, if it's a close game late, you still have Griffin Jacks. You still have a guy who can come in and kind of and shut the door in the 9th. But I thought it was a really good move by Rocco just to get Duran a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, well said. All right, plenty more deep dive from this one. Plus, we got our nerdy stat of the day. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. And eBay Motors, they got everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to the ultimate peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights. They got it all. And whether you're into speed, power, or style, they got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay's Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. June 26th, as we record this here tonight, creeping up to the halfway mark on the season. Where does this team rank among the AL's best right now? Like, what's the temperature on the Minnesota Twins on June 26th?
Well, I think overall, they are a top 5 team in the American League. And at the beginning of the season, if you told somebody, hey, what are they going to be on June 26th? And you go, top 5 team in the American League. You'll take it 10 times out of 10. You won't question how they got there. You won't question some of the things. You'll just say, all right, I'll take it. And we'll kind of go from there. Obviously, the Yankees and the Guardians and the Orioles are in a league of their own right now. But in that second tier, you have the Mariners and you have the Twins. And that's kind of where I think they lie. Maybe, the Texas Rangers could get hot and turn things around. Kansas City looks like they're fading a little bit as the Twins have kind of got back into second place. Not to say the Kansas City is going to fall off completely, but they're starting to kind of show a little bit why they weren't necessarily picked to win so much. So I think overall the Twins cement themselves in that top 5 spot in the American League.
To your credit here, just pulled up the Athletics' latest power rankings. Twins are 9th on the Athletics' latest power rankings. Okay. Seattle, Cleveland, Baltimore, New York, the 4 teams ahead of the Twins, and Seattle only 1 spot ahead of the Twins at number 8. So to your credit, pretty much nailed exactly where they are. Yeah, they're not in the top tier in the AL, but they're certainly right below that top tier in that second tier with Seattle. It's got a little section on here where it lists each team's most defining player. Want to guess who it is for the Minnesota Twins? This one's kind of tricky. This one might be tough. You might not get this one.
I don't know. Some like third baseman who's like gotten compared to like Babe Ruth or something like that. Yeah.
Well, no, actually, it's not the obvious Royce Lewis. It's actually Carlos Santana. And let me just give you the quick explanation. He started slow. The Twins started slow. Now he's hot again, and so are the Twins. That's kind of like the basic explanation, the reasoning in a nutshell. So thoughts on Santana, what he's done lately, how much he's helped this team kind of turn some of those, what were early losses, remember earlier in the season, into wins now as of late, because you and I came on here both and we said, this dude might be washed, man. Those first 3-4 weeks of the season, he's proved us wrong in a big way, has he not?
Yeah, I was about to say, don't go back to my Twitter page and look up what I was tweeting.
Let's not play
April.
the tape back from earlier in the year.
No, we don't need to. We don't need to search that. That's just a waste of time. I mean, Carlos Santana's just a hitter. And obviously he's not the hitter he was 10 years ago, but the guy, if you just know how to hit, you're going to play in the big leagues a very long time. And he can still play a good first base, but he's just a pure hitter. He can hit the ball to all three parts of the field. He can drive it when he needs to. He just knows baseball. And it's why, I mean, other than him being affordable for the Twins, given their salary constraints over the winter, the big reason why you bring Carlos Santana in is he's just a savvy veteran baseball player, and good teams need to have that. He's, obviously a much better version of what Donovan Solano was last year, which is just that guy who could play some first base, hit in the lineup, be a veteran presence. And it really just helps out this team with Carlos Santana that he's able to turn himself around. He's been a really, really good player. It helps today when he's, had a couple extra base hits, roped a double into the right center field gap in his last at bat. He just having a pure hitter on your team can mean so much. And it's why Carlos Santana should have deserved the benefit of the doubt from me back in April of like, this guy's a pro. You just got to give him time to get comfortable and figure it out. And he's been one of the better hitters for the Twins this season.
Yeah, he's made a huge difference for this lineup for sure. I'm on The Athletic now. Okay, there's another piece on here I just want to ask you about real quick. It's talking about Duran's velocity being down this year. The title is "Where Did 104 Go?" As in, where did his 104 mile an hour heater go? Basically, any idea, any rhyme or reason for that, or are the Twins saying anything, or what have you heard? What's the explanation for the velocity just ticked down just a little bit for Duran this year?
Well, what's weird about the velocities, it's not because it probably isn't attributable to the injury he missed the first month of the season on. That was an oblique. That's, like your ribs or like your midsection there. It's not like an arm or a shoulder issue or a wrist or a finger, something that could impact as much. Not to say that you can't, because with your obliques, it's a lot of the torque and whatever. Like that does have some play, but also, it's not a big reason why
direct
velocity,
correlation though.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. And now the Twins have said they believe it's mechanical. They believe that they've fixed something based on things I've read and heard other people who are in the facility talking about it, that they feel like it's a mechanical issue and that they're just going to get some things corrected. I don't know, man. Sometimes baseball just can be weird. Like I'm not trying to say he's losing a step or two, but sometimes it just kind of bounces up and down, and relievers are like kickers in football. They can just get weird for a little bit. Yeah. And if you're patient enough to see through it, typically it works out pretty well for you, but otherwise they can burn you if you hang on to them too long. But, to see Duran come back out there, and I haven't looked up the numbers on what his average pitch velocity was and get it here in a second, but he's just for him to come back out here and pitch tonight was big for him.
Absolutely. A nerdy stat of the daytime. Usually got one locked and loaded. Give us some crazy stat or fun analytic, Twins related, of course. What do you got tonight? Lay it on us.
Jose Miranda had another good game, a few hits, had a bases clearing double earlier, and overall just building on a really, really nice season to make up for a sophomore year in which he was hurt, and it really did show. Because the biggest thing about Jose Miranda is he's a guy that can hit for power, and I think most people would assume of him as being a power hitter, but he's a power hitter that swings and makes contact a lot. When you look at his contact percentage, he's making contact this season a career high 82% of the time when he swings. He's swinging at pitches inside the zone, outside the zone. He's got about a 50% swing rate. What's been the biggest difference this year from last year when he struggled is the fact that he's just hitting the ball harder. If you look at StatCast, it kind of shows the exit velocity. His exit velocity right now, average exit velocity is at a career high of 89.6. Last year was at 87.9. And not only that, and this is the last part of the nerdy stat, his launch angle this year is much better. A year ago, again, he's hurt. He was smothering a lot of baseballs into the dirt. His launch angle at about 10 degrees. This year, it's at a career high 16.2, which is, again, that just kind of ideal way of getting a hard upper line drive that a lot of people right now in baseball are seeking. it just goes to show that he was hurt last year and it bothered him more than I think everybody let on. And it's really encouraging to see that not only is he picked up where he left off in 2022, but he's building on that.
Just for the people at home, like myself, who don't know, what is a good trajectory number? You said 10 was a little too low, smashing those balls in the dirt, 16 a lot more ideal. What's the kind of sweet spot when we hear these numbers that we should be looking for in a hitter?
Yeah, Baseball Reference, I think, has that. For sure, Fangraphs has kind of a full write-up on it, but typically it's anywhere in like that 13 to 17 degree range. And believe me, I'm no math expert. Don't look at my geometry grades in high school either, but just kind of that ideal, like you don't want to hit it too high in the air because that's a pop-up. You don't want to hit it too low because it's in the ground. And when it's on the ground, it has a higher probability of being grabbed by somebody. You just want, it sounds real fancy, but you just want that ideal line drive. It's what your Pee Wee coach tells you. It's what your high school coach tells you. Just hit the ball hard and on a line. And obviously, if you can lift it a little bit further, it can go over the fence. But pretty much just hitting the ball hard, hitting it on the line is really all the kind of the exit velocity and launch angle is really trying to tell you.
Launch angle, again, 13 to 17, though, just good to know. Keep that in the back of my mind. And again, to your point, Miranda, 16 right now, about averaging anyways compared to 10 last year. Much, much better. So much improved there. All right, don't go anywhere. Got to preview Game 3 versus Arizona tomorrow. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's number one numbers to date, and for me and my money, it's by far the easiest and most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. All you got to do, you pick more or you pick less on 2 or more player stats, and you watch the winnings roll in. Baseball season obviously in full swing, so whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, home runs, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less and add those into your Prize Picks entry today. For example, you could ride the Byron Buxton and Royce Lewis wave. You hammer the over on pretty much any stat to choose from with those two. Plus, Prize Picks now offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code, all lowercase, LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay, Game 3 tomorrow for all the marbles. David Festa making his debut. You already gave us the scouting report. What do you think Rocco's game plan is going to be? How long's the leash going to be? Any words of encouragement you think is going to be said out there before he hits the mound? And anything unique, by the way, too? I know this is Game 3 now. We've already seen this lineup twice, but anything unique or special or anything we should keep our eyes peeled for when it comes to Festa trying to attack this Diamondback lineup that could, I don't know, pose an issue or is just noteworthy, I guess?
I mean, Marte, they mentioned this on the broadcast yesterday for the Diamondbacks, is a guy that hits a lot of home runs on his first at-bat of the game. He's a guy that does like to attack and really jump on a guy. So it's that first time through the lineup, I think, for Festa that's going to be very fascinating just because of the lineup that Arizona has. Like they did against Joe Ryan, they blitzed him. Simeon Woods-Richardson was able to avoid that, and the Twins were able to kind of do that today, and it allowed Woods-Richardson to kind of cruise throughout the game. So obviously the big things for Festa is going to be avoiding getting shelled early, avoiding kind of having that big inning in the first 3 innings that you allow, and letting your offense try and get some runs on the board, and run support will be big. The other thing is we talked about before for Festa, just keeping that ball inside the strike zone, not walking a ton of guys, not getting a little over eager and trying to do too much. And in terms of how long his leash is going to be, I can't imagine it's very long. He's a guy that in AAA didn't necessarily pitch a ton of innings, and that's just kind of how AAA is. Yeah. Your starters aren't going 7 innings every single night. Mm-hmm. You're typically going 4 to 6 innings. That's really kind of that average AAA start. So I could see a good, 5 innings, get that big league debut under your belt, and try and just build some confidence into that next start that you're going to get. That's really where I see this kind of going for Festa.
Plus, we know the short leash Rocco typically has on most of his pitchers most nights. Now, that's changed a little bit from last year to this year, but let's just say, okay, just I'm going to paint a picture here. Just play with me. Let's just say it's the 5th inning. He's got a 1-hitter going, 5 Ks, pitch counts at 68. Does he come out for the 6th? Is he coming out for the 6th? Or does Rocco say, hey, it's the first start, man. Okay, beggars can't be choosers. We're done. We're already playing with house money. Let's get out of here.
I think it depends on what the score is in the game. I think if the Twins
it's tied up. It's 2-2. It's tied up.
Tied up 2-2. Okay. I think he probably does go to the bullpen just because of the fact of, like you talked about, you got your big league debut under your belt. You got the strikeouts. You were, unless
the one hitter was a 2-run bomb. It was just a 1-pitch mistake. That's
right.
It. Okay.
Something like that. I think basically because and Rocco's done this a lot with Simeon Woods-Richardson, as he slowly starts to build up more trust. Rocco's been able to let him, kind of like he did, try and pitch through the 6th inning and try and do some stuff. But it's just more of, let's not try and put too much on your plate. And if you have a good outing, let's let you have that good outing and not run the risk of bringing it out there again and then, getting shelled. And then all of a sudden a great debut turns into like a fine one, or one where you blow it for your team.
Yeah. No, well said. Can't wait to see this one tomorrow, though. Twins bounce back tonight. They get the dub in game 2. Woods-Richardson, he gets the win. He moves to 3-1 on the year. Again, game 3 tomorrow, the debut of David Festa. First pitch, early one, 2:40 p.m. As always, huge shout out to everyone that joined us on the stream. Rest assured, we'll be back each and every game right here, breaking them all down. Quick reminder, too, go check out all of CJ's work on Twitter at BombCJ30, plus all the work he's always ripping up over at ZoneCoverageMN.com. And if it's not too much trouble, go like this video, subscribe to the channel, help us get to 8,000 subscribers. That's always much, much appreciated. But that'll do it for us tonight. CJ Baumgartner. I'm Luke Inman on Twitter at Luke_Spinman. We'll see you next time. But until then, signing out.